welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year, you guys. I don't know which video you're going to see first, this video or my things that came true in 2022 vision board video, but nonetheless, Happy New Year. So you guys saw me through December and the end of November start with not a new side hustle, but kind of revamping a side hustle that I was already doing. A few years back, I made my hustle planner, which so many of you guys have graciously purchased and enjoyed, and that was such a process to create a journal line by line, find a vendor to figure out how to have it printed in color for not that much money, and it was very expensive, but I did sell out of all of them except for two, and my main purpose was to go to pop-up shops and to sell them. I didn't want to just rely on an online audience to try to sell them. I wanted to see if I could create an audience from scratch from around my state to pay for these journals, and I did. You guys also purchased some, which I'm so excited for, but I ended up kind of putting that on the back burner once that experiment was done and really focusing on my notary signing agent things and then also my Airbnb. But now, at the end of the year, things usually tend to slow down for me, and I was like, I need more content and I need to show people that they can make money, so let's revamp something I've already tried before and make it different. In the meantime, I can learn a new skill. I can show people how to start a new skill and jump into it without any fear and make money, and trying to figure out how to maximize the money and not having to work as many days. So potentially, well, not even potentially, I ended up making more money than I would when I was working almost full time as a, I don't even know the word anymore. It's been so long since I've done it. I used to work at TJ Maxx, and I used to make less money than what I was doing with what I'm sharing this video was about. I created another way of doing planners. I know how to do them online, which I've also talked about before, but I wanted to create my own front cover of them, and I also wanted to learn how to make jewelry. So two different skills in 1 month to see if I could make money. What I used for my technique for my journals was a pyro pen, which is a pen that's literally on fire, it's burning, and I would carve into the covers of notebooks. I used a laser, had to learn how to use the software, how to figure out the software. I am not like some software online genius. It was definitely a learning curve for me, but I also learned how to use that. I started using a quill pen. I think it's just called a quill pen or a heated quill pen, and it heats up so that I could put gold foil on, you know, books. So if you ever see like gold indented into a book and it says notebook or journal, or it says something like a quote, that is a heated quill pen where you could take foils, gold leaf, and have them engraved in on the cover. And then I also used a hammer method to learn how to make jewelry. So I wasn't soldering. Soldering means when you put something on fire and you put them together. I haven't tried that, but I was using the bending method and just hammering to engrave. So those are the ways that I was making money in December. Those were skills that I put in place for me to learn. Gave myself 1 month. Now in 1 month, you're not going to be an expert. You're not going to be perfect, but you're going to be able to, if you take it serious, make stuff that people in theory should want to buy. I'm also going to give the advice that you want to create things that people want to buy. Food at pop-up shops do well. Jewelry does well. People can eat it or wear it or use it. Most of the time, you will be one of the most popular vendors at a pop-up shop. So I have done multiple videos on this, but I just wanted to show you guys that it can be done with a skill if you haven't already started, or if you already have a skill and you can throw it out into the world and make money. A lot of you guys asked me, how much did I spend on expenses? How much did I spend for the booths? And all of these valid questions. So I made sure that I kept track of everything. I sell journals. I can't lie to you and say that I don't write in journals. So I definitely record everything from what I made at pop-up shops. Yes, I could do it online. Everyone always asks why I don't do it online. I do. I just prefer to write it down in my own little journal because I love writing. There's power in the pen, and so everything I sold, I also wrote down. I also kept track of the colors and what was the top seller and all of that. So I wrote down, went through all of my receipts because I save everything. and this is what we're gonna go over. For the booths, I'm gonna give you guys some tips as well. My total in booths cost me $1,180 for the full month of December. I went to four events, which sounds like a lot of money for only 4 events, but mind you, I was working every single weekend of December and some of the weekdays. So it kind of amounted to like $100 a day, I think. I think I only worked 11 or 13 days. Good morning. I'm about to set up my table 1 hour before opening. I like your cover. Thank you. It's used to be my springtime tablecloth. So $100 for a booth for 1 day is actually not bad. Like, that's really good, and it's a very good starter. But they also have booths out there that are $25, $50, $75. But there is a trick to finding really good pop-up shops to go to. So my total for all the booths that I paid for were $1,180. My tip on how to find booths, good booths, or trying to weed out the ones that you may not make as much money from. Now, you can make money from very, very small pop-up shops because people go there specifically to buy from small businesses. They do not want to go to a mall and, you know, shop it for this stuff at Forever 21. They want handmade, supporting people in their state, small businesses.
156, and I can already tell you that I definitely 100% don't recommend going to malls for pop-up shops because people are not coming here to support a small business. They're coming here to support really big, mass-produced businesses like Victoria's Secret, Forever 21. It's very hard to make a good amount of money because people don't want to pay the price of a small business handmade stuff. So it's hard getting sales. I do have sales, but maybe I can reach my $500 goal today. I don't know, but there's a lot of people here, but not a lot of people buying.
So how I do my method is I get on Facebook, I go under events, and then I type in markets. Maybe I'll type in spring market, winter market, Valentine's Day market. Sometimes I'll just type in spring. Sometimes I'll type in pop-up. Sometimes I'll type in vendor. These are keywords that you guys want to be using almost every day because they always post them every single day. I also look for how many people have liked or said that they were interested in going to this event. If it's below a certain number, I probably will not sign up for it. I have previously in other years signed up for ones where only 80 people were liking the post or only 100 people were liking the post, and I made money, but you know, the foot traffic was slow. I wasn't making as much as I was making in December. Now, could it be because of the holidays? Yes. So I'm going to be doing a full year of this to also you know, show you guys what it feels like in the full year of going to even bigger pop-up shops and doing my method of only, like, my thing is that if over 1,000 people are wanting to go to this event, I'm signing up for it. You may not want to, because if something has a lot of marketing and it has a lot of people wanting to go to it, it's going to be expensive to get into. Usually those events are at least 2 to 4 days long, and the amount is probably going to be $100 a day that you pay for the booth. So it's 4 days, it's probably going to cost you $400, which I think is really fair. But if you feel like you don't have enough merchandise to sell at those shops, because you need a lot. If 1,000 people are liking the Facebook post, guess how many people are going who didn't say they were, that didn't like the Facebook post. So you have to make sure that you have enough stock for those big events like that. I also make sure that the events, the people who are holding the event have done this multiple years in the same spot. So if someone says it's their first year, I won't sign up for it. That is my tip on getting the booth, maximizing how much you're paying for the booth and what you're going to be getting out of it. So merchandise, guys, I paid for a lot of jewelry to hand make. My jewelry, I had, geez, you guys, I had at least over 500 pieces of jewelry. And the good thing about jewelry is that it doesn't expire. You can carry it on to the next year and hopefully sell out of that and then re-up on it again. I do tend to re-up on the best sellers and stuff, but I was doing hammer jewelry and all of that, so I had over 500 pieces. My total that I got that I spent on those pieces, which is clasps, closures, necklaces, and I was doing stainless steel, my total for that was $989.15. I did not sell out of my jewelry. I did sell out of certain pieces, and I did make a lot of custom orders while I was at the pop-up shop. Someone put an order in for 5 custom keychains. I sell them for $10. She wants angel numbers on them. 333. So I'm gonna make that right now. That custom order ended up being $80. And that's a tip for you guys, is to, if you can, make custom order pieces at the shop. So, you know, your big orders you probably can't, but I would have people pay if they wanted a big order that I couldn't make right then and there. I would literally right then and there have them pay for an invoice for me to start the order, and then go home and finish the order and then send it to them the next day. So that way I can maximize people who are like, oh, I want this, but you don't have it. I can make it. That's what I would tell them. So I was making a lot of custom orders at the table, which was so cool. I loved making custom orders and seeing a smile on people's faces. So my grand total for that was almost $1,000. Now, you don't need to spend as much money as I did. I had money allocated from my savings that I knew I was going to be spending on these markets, because I just knew deep down that I was going to do well. I mean, I'm a very optimistic person, but if you don't feel, or you feel scared, don't let fear keep you from playing the game. Just maybe invest in less stuff, so you don't have to spend as much as I did. The next one was, how much did I spend for my journals that I was making? I did a boo-boo this year because I was rushing, and I ended up spending more money than if I had planned the entire year for this event. I was spending over $5 a book. If you're in the booking industry, you definitely don't want to pay that much for creating books, because books are expensive. So I was reaching up to like sometimes $10 for planners, $8 for books, so that then I could go in and customize them. This year though, already, it's January, I've already found and secured vendors that have the books charged from $4 to $6, which is really good. I mean, that definitely does not cut into my profit like it did for the month of December. But like I said, I was rushing because I only had 1 month to show you these. I only had 1 month to prove my point to you guys that you can make this happen. And I'm not saying, you know, do exactly as I do. Make books, make journals, make planners and all of that. You have to pick something that you love and that you're good at, or that you're gonna at least stick to. Journals are always my thing. I have a dozen of them. Choose something that you like. Maybe you do like making jewelry. Maybe you like making hair clips. There's a lady that was selling hair clips at one pop-up shop that I bought 3 from because they were awesome. So you find something that you can do and see if you can make it happen. So my merchandise for my journals, $714.30, and I pretty much almost sold out of every single journal that I did make for that pop-up shop. I think I had maybe a total of 10 left over. And that's one thing you should know, is that pop-up shops go from March to the end of December. I might not be doing any shows, but I am looking out for Valentine's Day, so search out for that. That gave me a total of merchandise spent was $1,703.45. I will definitely be significantly cutting that, not in half, but making it cheaper for next year, because I have secured vendors that I know for a fact, good quality and cheaper amount, and I don't need to buy like an arm and a leg to get them to ship it over to me. Here are some one-time purchases that you guys are going to have to make when you start a pop-up shop, because you are constantly taking things down and putting things up, and you want to make it look good. You want to catch people's attention for your setup, but these are one-time buys. You really shouldn't be trying to revamp your stuff, buying more stuff for your setup. So that should be your tent. I didn't buy my tent because we had one already for the beach, and then I also got one for Christmas this year. Here's a hint, guys: if you're starting a business, ask for business expenses for Christmas. So if you have a jewelry making business, ask for jewelry for Christmas that you can make. You need a tent, ask for a tent. You need a table, ask for a table. So that way you can take that expense off of you. I never bought a tent, but the tents are about $100 to $300, maybe more. Tables, I would say at least have 3 tables. You can get them from Walmart for $55. There's foldable 6-feet tables, 8 feet, at least for one, see if you can get away with it. You want to do 3-tier things. I got those from Amazon. My fiance made a pegboard for me. And you know, the pegboard cost less than $200 that he made for me. I didn't have to buy it, but if you were to buy it, it's about $300 to get those tall pegboards and stuff. So I spent a total on my booth setup was $683.73 to make it look good. I got tablecloths, I got table runners, I used my Christmas decoration that I already had at my house to decorate for my table. So use what you do have at your house as much as possible. And then my laser was $250, and including in my booth setup, that included my payment method. I used Venmo, card stuff, so I included that in there. I also included my quill pen, my pyro pen. Those are one-time fees unless they break. I also didn't pay any extra for my bins that I showed in one of my setup videos. I may not actually film a separate video for that. I'll probably just show it up here. We already had those because we were camping a lot. We had extra bins. I just took those and used them for my books, but those bins are about $20 to $30 a piece, maybe cheaper. Make sure you account for that, but please know that that is just a one-time payment. You shouldn't have to re-up on all of those things. So totaling my expenses for just 1 month is gonna be a lot because I'm using these for next year, okay? I want you guys to remember this total carries on into next year when I start back up in March. My total for everything was $3,817.18 of what I spent to get this up and going. If for this year, not even if, for next year, I am not going to have to include my setup purchase because those are things I'm going to be using all the time. So if I didn't have to add that into my total, I would have actually only had an expense of $2,883.45. That is a significant decrease if you don't have to keep buying your setup. So I wanted you guys to hear that. This sounds like a lot. I totally understand. I am using books that are expensive. Jewelry is not as expensive. Creating your own paintings are not expensive. Maybe you're good at knitting. Maybe it's cheaper to get into knitting and stuff. So maybe you're making hair products. Maybe you're making makeup. It could be so much more cheaper. This is just my total to get it up and running as fast as I could. I went to 4 different pop-up shops. One of the pop-up shops were for 2 weeks, I believe, for myself. One of the days it rained. I would have made so much more money had it not rained. That's one of the bad things about pop-up shops, that even though you can get a tent and you're not getting wet, people may not be coming out to shop. And that is the horrible, horrible reality of pop-up shops. And spring is going to be probably a rough one if it does rain. My total, even though it rained, even though I only worked weekends, was $6,018.61. That's pretty good. Now my profit though, because I spend a lot on books, which I will not be doing next year. I have a better vendor. My profit, when you subtract everything that I paid for, was $2,201.43. That is more money than I made working at TJ Maxx. Had I not paid for the booth setup and all of that again, my total would have been $3,135.16. So I would have made a bigger profit. This was only for 1 month. Keep that in mind. So next year, my goal is to do 3 traveling pop-up shops and then also make at least $15,000 to $20,000 in 1 year for it. Maybe more. I'm always on the smaller side so I can meet my goals. But what do you guys think? Do you guys do pop-up shops? What do you sell? Was this a good idea? Did I do good? Put your comments down below. Thank you so much for following me, you guys, and I hope that I can make you proud and show you guys that this can be done. So, bye guys.